Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Elston, and in this video you're going to see what I've done in January and how I've kept up with my New Year's resolution. Now I just wanted to say, if you're enjoying the content, please hit the like button, and if you do feel like watching more videos, there's a subscribe button so you can be kept up to date with all the latest information and how I'm progressing with these challenges. So January seems like a long month. To be honest with you, it has been a long month, and it is always a long month. It's the month of my birthday, which is great. However, it's also the first time I've had a birthday during lockdown, and it means you cannot do anything. But hey ho, is what is. It's the life we live right now. So I've tried to keep productive, and this is what I've done. So I decided I wanted to finish off my Lizardmen. Lizardmen are actually part of my Warhammer Fantasy. I've only just started learning Warhammer Fantasy, and it seemed like a project I wanted to get out of the way. And I know that sounds like a bad thing, but hear me out. I wanted to have a complete army that I could choose from, and I could pick whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. So when I first got into Warhammer Fantasy, I was like, ooh, so I started playing the game, and I really enjoyed it. So now, I want to play more. And I decided I want my entire army kitted out so that I can choose whatever I want, whenever I want. And now it's done. This was a long month. This was a very long month, and oh god. Yeah, there were some points where I was just not in a good place, but we're done, and we can add this to the collection. I'll show you in a second all the models that I completed during this month, then we can add it all up, and then we can add it to the total, so we understand where we are with our New Year's resolution. If you don't know what I'm talking about with the New Year's resolution, I have a video which you should see up there. It could be up there. I always get these finger positions wrong, but in this video you should see what my New Year's resolution is. And just a quick heads up, I'm not buying anything this year, so I've got to make do with what I've got. And since I'm a super productive painter, I'm going to try and paint up as much as humanly possible, and we couldn't work out a way of actually gauging how much money I saved because it was random. So instead what we're going to do is gauge it on how much productivity I've done and the value of the models I've painted. Nah, it's not quite the right way of doing it, but you know, look, I could have been more accurate with my spending, but yeah. There are some grey areas though with this. There are some models in here which I wasn't entirely sure how to price up, and I'll go into that when we start looking at the models. Some of them I make a bit of a guesstimate with, some I don't know how to price them. Whether or not they're valued at anything, I couldn't say. I'll leave that up to you to decide whether or not you want to put a value to them or not. If I've said I'm not going to put a value to them, then so be it, but you may have a value which you think. If so, please put in the comments below. I'm really intrigued to see what your thoughts are. Now let's go over and have a look at what I've painted. So let's have a look and see what's in this big pile of lizards, and let's see what kind of money we've made. Well, I say money we've made, money we've saved by painting models. So we're going to start off with the skink priest with a feathered cloak. This is one of the Finecast models, and this came in at £12. Finecast, ugh, yeah. Then we came in with two skink priests. Now these came out of the Start Collecting Skink set, however sold separately they come in at £17.50, therefore equaling £35 in total. Then you get 6 chameleon skinks. Now these comes in packs of 5, however I thought might as well just charge them at 5 rather than 6, so it's 15 quid. Then we got 3 RIPPERDACTYLS. They come in at 35 quid, again from the Start Collecting Skink set, but sold separately they're pretty pricey. Also following suit, we've got some TERRADONS. Now we've got 2 sets. We've got 3 with javelins and 3 with firebowlers. They both come in at £35, so that's £70 for the 6 TERRADONS. These are really cool models though, especially like the firebowlers. Now we're coming in with another Finecast model. This is a SAURUS Eternity Warden. This comes in at £15. This is going to go with my temple card. Then we got a SAURUS SUNBLOOD. I'm sure this was a character back in old fancy days, but I don't know what his name is. So he's a SUNBLOOD, and he comes in at 15 quid. Then we got Avatars of War, Saurian Warlord. This was in euros, but after transfers and currency changes, it's going to be about 13 quid. There'll be a link to the shop below. Now here are two models. I cannot pronounce the names, so they're just two Kroxigor style miniatures from Mierce Miniatures. Yeah, there'll be links below for their actual names, but God knows I'm not going to try and pronounce them. Here's some salamanders that were 3D printed and I bought off of eBay. I found out if you went to Avatars of War, they actually do better ones. Same for the RAZORDONS here from the same people I bought the 3D printed from. The Avatars of War ones, after seeing the Saurian Old Blood, I had a look, and yeah, they've got some really good ones, so go check them out. Now we've got a STEGADON, this coming in at £37.50. A lot of these you might find I've sort of converted them. I don't know exactly how they all go together, so I just started putting SKINKS everywhere. Then we've got two BASTILIDONs with solar engines. These are £35 each, and so that comes in a total of £70. Then we got a BASTILIDON with an arc of SOTEK. A lot of these snakes were used for my jungle swarms, which you'll see shortly. Then we've got a SLANN Mage Priest, and this comes in at £32.50. Now we're on to the big boys. Here's a TROGLODON. This comes in at 50 quid. I remember when these first came out that the start collecting set was 50 quid. So these were 50 quid, so it was a no-brainer to get the start collecting. Here's another TROGLODON. So that's another 50 quid adding to the pile. Yeah, I've really gone to town with the big dinosaurs. Here's a Carnosaur. So that's another 50 quid. And another Carnosaur, so that's another 50 quid, but this one's going to be used as Kroxigor, so this is kind of my leader. Yes, well, this is also the one with the stripes tutorial on it. Now we're moving on to some weird ones with a bit of a grey area. Here are two SAURUS Scar Veterans. You can't get these anymore, so I put them at 20 quid. Tell me whether or not you agree with me in the comments below. Then we've got a Skink Chief, which I converted up. Again, I was putting it at about a tenner, so kind of undercutting for what usual characters are. Then a SAURUS Old Blood. This comes in the Carnosaur kit, but sold separately. I think maybe a £5 because it's plastic. You might get more, but I'm just kind of pricing it low. Here's some 3D printed stuff, which I 3D printed. It's a Raven Twin Carnosaur, and this comes in at 15 quid. Now, with this and the other one that's about to show up as well, I basically based it on the price of the STL files you can buy from my mini factory. So, now it's priced in dollars on there, but by the time you 3D printed it, it cost this much to actually print it yourself. Here's some jungle swarms. I just made these out of the spare parts that came on all the other kits. I don't really think they're worth that much value, so I'm going to put them at 0. Now here's a limited edition SLANN Mage Priest. I didn't know what to charge this because this is limited edition, so I could go for more, but I think reasonably it would go for the same as a normal SLANN. Here's some Raven Twin Kroxigors. Now there's 9 here altogether, but 3 of them cost $12 from my mini factory, so altogether £36. Now here's an old STEGADON converted up. I based this at about a tenner. Since it's old and converted, yeah, I said that's a rough estimate, so could go for more, could go for less, and here's another one as well. So same thing applies. I'm only charging it about a tenner. It could go for more, but that's a kind of rough estimate of how much I think I could sell it at. And all in all, altogether, totaled up, this comes to £813.48. Now, that's a fair old chunk. Now, it's not as big as what I had earlier in the month with the Necrons, but hey, I'm not going to complain too much. This is a good army. And combined with the previous total, we've got 1,888.98 pence. I'm really annoyed that that's not 188.88. That would have been really cool. However, yeah, £1,888.98.
Now, as you can see, that's a fair amount of stuff we've added to the pile.
I'm feeling pretty good, feeling pretty confident. If I carry on down this track, I'll have somewhere close to around about the £2,000 mark every month. If I do that, I will equate to about £24,000 a year. Now, I don't think I'm going to hit that kind of target, but if I do, that's incredible. And that shows what kind of productivity you can do with painting. I mean, that's nearly a full-time job. I mean, if this turns out to be anything more, then I would say, yeah, it's a full-time job. However, I've paid for all this stuff, so deduct about at least half of all that money, and that's the value you get for being a painter. So, still thinking commission painting is a viable career? If you ever did think about commission painting and whether or not it's a viable career, rethink it. This whole thing will hopefully tell you and explain to you why it's not the best career in the world. If you make a go of it and it works, then fair enough, but I find it rather situational, and you have to charge a lot of money, and there's a lot of wasting time. People don't realise how expensive it is to get custom artwork done. We've got that out of the way. What are we going to do next? So next month I'm going to slow down a little bit. Lizardmen took it out of me, but I'm glad they're done. There's a project out of the way, and I can move on to something else. However, I've got a lot of projects I've got to deal with. In the Chilling network, I put a poll up on what to paint next, and I gave him a couple of ideas of projects that I needed to do. And it was neck and neck between another fantasy army and another army, which you'll see hopefully in the next one, but here's a little bit of a clue. So that's our next project. I hope this has been kind of informative in some sort of way. There's not a lot to it, apart from I've painted a lot. The majority of the models I use contrast paints on, but I did blending with others. There's a whole thing, and I've not done tutorials on pretty much any of them, to be honest with you. The only one I've done a tutorial on is the stripes, and that'll be coming up hopefully in the near future. Also as well, there's a Death Guard tutorial I said I was going to do a while back, and I'm still working on it. I've just had this to get in the way, so this is out of the way now, so I can get some more videos out, so hopefully they'll be on the way soon. Also, we're going to be doing a video on how to paint lots of minis very fast, like this. There's some relations to some other videos going around at the moment, so you'll see what that's about when that video drops. Until that time, that's pretty much it from me. Here's January out of the way, on to February, and see what we can do next. If you're doing any projects like this, so New Year's resolutions on how much you paint up, please share them below. Hit us up on the Chilling Wargamers Facebook group, post the images there, and we can have a look and see what we're all doing. There'll be pictures going up of mine on there as well, so if you want to have a look there. If you want to have a look at Elstonation's minis, that's where they also are. And also, if you are liking the content, please subscribe. So I'm hoping that this is a little bit of an inspiration. The last video seemed to inspire people to get productive, and in the right sense there. I'm hoping it can inspire too. So I want to see, what have you been working on? Let me know in the comments below. I'm really intrigued. And if you want to see how many models you paint this year, I'm trying to go for as many as humanly possible. I'm trying to beat last year. Last year I painted 1,277 minis. Forgot that. 1,277 minis. And I want to beat that this year. I'm not sure if I will, but I've got some cool projects in mind. So until that time, everyone, be good, be safe, take it steady, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.